everyone, and welcome to Love Wrestling Interviews. My name is Zak Ralph, and I am thrilled to welcome my guest today. For 580 days, in the form of a championship reign, my guest proudly waved the red and white maple leaf, the former IWS Canadian Champion, Matt Viviani. Matt, welcome to the show, dude.
Great to be here.
Great to have you. I really want to, it's no secret that I'm a huge IWS fan. It's my favorite promotion here in Montreal. I'm frequently attending. Your championship reign was a real treat to watch. And as that's come to an end, I immediately thought, I want to talk to you about the whole championship reign, because I think this is a bit of a gem in the Canadian indie scene. So thanks so much for taking the time to talk to me.
Of course. Anytime.
Yeah. So jumping right in, I'd like to talk about the time leading up to the title reign, because you were not actually long removed from a major injury. Let's talk about that. How did that happen?
Yeah, so I had been out with a complete ACL tear. My ACL was ripped, severed completely in half. It happened April 2022. It was at an IWS show. I believe it was called Know Your Enemy. And it was supposed to be me and JT Producer against the Bay City Choir Boys, who were making their main roster debut at the time, actually, with IWS. And it was right before the show. We're in the ring, going over a few things, and just a routine, I got popped up. It was going to be a pop-up, land behind something or the other. And as I landed and turned, my heel stayed kind of caught in a rut in the canvas. And my body turned, my leg stayed put, and my knee just exploded. I went right down, straight to the hospital, 6 hours. And it was a really not fun experience. Had to sit on the sidelines. Luckily, at the time, Shane Hawk had just joined Castle Productions, so he replaced me that night, and they went on to pick up the victory. And I spent, about 9 months on the shelf, because I got very lucky with the MRI, because I managed to get one the next week, which was insane. They were telling me it could be months and months, and that was freaking me out because it would push the surgery back even more. Managed to get one, I think 5 or 6 days later. And then actually made a trip out to Ireland about not even a month after tearing my ACL. I wrestled with the torn ACL with a knee brace on because I didn't want to miss that opportunity. I wrestled for H2O in New Jersey, I think that same month, with that torn ACL against, it was in a 6-man tag with, the name escapes me right now. It was Big Red, Ryan Redfield, Austin Luke, and sorry, the third guy, your name completely escapes me right now, but yeah, torn ACL. I felt like crap because I couldn't do everything I could normally do. I was very limited. I had to let JT and Shane Hawk front the load. And while I was out, JT and Shane Hawk actually lost the tag team championship. So while I was a Freebird champion, I never actually got to wrestle in a match with the titles on the line once. I did help them retain it with some nefarious tactics from ringside a few times. But while I was out, it was actually, they were going to stay a tag team for a while. And I was like, man, I kind of don't want to be a third wheel because I didn't know they were going to lose the tag belts anytime soon. So I don't really want to be a third wheel. And I got some history at the Green Phantom. Maybe we could do something on the side. So that kicked off. And then the Canadian Championship reign happened shortly after my return.
I was gonna say, before I jump into the Green Phantom, because again, he's paramount to your story with the Canadian Championship, naturally. But 9 months, that's remarkable.
Yeah, it was something, and I was just so worried. Man, I remember I would say even the first 3 months after coming back, I was so afraid to do things. I remember I was on a show at Claim in Ottawa, and I think it was I was back for maybe 2 or 3 weeks at the time. And I was in a match with Excess, and he's like, "Can you jump off the top rope and you land on your feet, and we'll give you a flapjack or something?" I'm like, "Man, I really am not. I don't trust my knee right away to just jump and land on my feet." And I had that worry for a while, and even in my repertoire, I do the pedigree where I land on my knees. I got the Vader bomb where I'm basically landing on my knees, and it was very stressful for the first few months back. I'd say like just I would even like sometimes just I would even gingerly hit the ropes. I wouldn't even get a full stride, just afraid that I would just lock my leg or something, and then bam, another 9 months. So I was very careful.
Totally fair. Absolutely. So yes, once you are clear, though, you get involved in that program almost right away with Green Phantom, one of the faces of the IWS, Montreal
Yeah.
legend, hardcore legend. Kind of a big deal for the first feud back. So how did that program come together?
It would. Me and the Green Phantom are really good friends outside the IWS. Fun fact: he's actually the guy who I've wrestled more than anybody in my career. I would say because of the CNE in Toronto that we do yearly now. I would say my number of matches with the Green Phantom could be in the 30s and 40s at this point because of all these festival shows we've done. But we just have like we're good friends in real life. We've got a natural chemistry in the ring. He's a very strong babyface. I'm a very strong heel. We play off each other very well. Our characters, I find, are big enough that like it doesn't necessarily have to be the craziest match move wise. We can just interact with the audience and get them going, do our thing, play off stories, play off emotion. And that was actually one of my favorite matches that I've had overall. I would say not just with him. It was the first time I got color. It was first time I took thumbtacks. Man, I think I knocked him off the top of the pool balcony thing through a table at one point. Like it was a lot of fun. We did a lot of cool stuff, and yeah, big night. Won the title, my first singles title in the IWS, and it was actually a thing I was discussing one night with. I think it was me, Manny, the Green Phantom, and Andrew. We were at a bar. I think it was the IWS GCW show that was in Toronto. We were at a bar after the show, went out for a few drinks, Masha Slamovich, a few other people, and we were talking about the future of the IWS. And Green Phantom and I were talking. We're like, he had the belt for 2 years up until that point. We're trying to figure out what I'm going to do when I come back. And I'm like, I thought when Kevin Owens was the United States champion, if people remember, he called himself the new face of America. And he had this whole gimmick where he was basically like the president. I'm like, well, if I'm Canadian champion, I'm champion of Canada, like the whole country. Like, why? What if I just call myself the prime minister of the IWS because I'm the leader of Canada now? I'm the champion of Canada. And Manny, like, it was like a light bulb went off. He's like, fuck yes. He's like, this is what we're gonna do. He's like, I'm sold. I'm sold. So right away, I went online, started looking up like all kinds of Canadian facts, like started pulling up Canadian heritage videos, shopping for new merch, new gear, anything Canadian themed. I think I went to the dollar store on Canada Day and bought like literally everything. Like I'm not even kidding. Like stickers, little flags, big flags, banners, hats. I just went nuts. Bought everything with a maple leaf on it, and then we were off and running basically.
You looked like you were having a lot of fun, not just in the ring with this
Oh
the prime minister gimmick, but all those vignettes you were recording,
yeah.
like man on the street style.
So much fun, like highlight of my career. Like I think every day, like I just had new ideas. I was so excited to always do something. I think leading up into the match, I filmed where I challenged Green Phantom. I just so happens a buddy of mine has a cottage up north, so I filmed something out there. Like, oh, look at this beautiful country, like in front of a lake. This is all gonna be mine soon. And then my favorite one by far, though, that I did was the one at the mall. I don't know if you remember that one, the Christmas
Yeah,
one.
yeah, I
Yeah, that
remember the
was
one
my
at the mall.
favorite one. I brought my little cousin there for a cameo. I stole his Skittles, made fun of the fact that Canadians don't read. Did the thing on the carousel merry-go-round thing where my cousin's in the back giving me like a shit-eating, like just a nasty look because I stole his candies. Yeah, that one was so much fun. And I was actually one of the most disappointing things was I was gonna film something at a sugar shack at a Cabana Souk. We had gone out, we get there. I'm excited. I was gonna do all these things, where I was gonna like do a horse ride and eat the maple syrup, pretend to love it, even though like deep down my character thought it tasted like crap. I was gonna complain about the smell of horse shit while on the carriage ride, all kinds of things. I was gonna get stuck in like waist deep snow and just like be like, right as I'm about to say, I fucking hate Canada, the video would end. And we get there, and man, it was like 4 hours of line to get in because there's one that doesn't take reservations. I don't remember what it's called. I think it's called Constantine or something like that. You just show up, and man, I guess you went on like a busy day because it was impossible. And then the Cabana Souk we actually ended up going to just looked like crap. And I'm like, man, there's like they didn't have the horse rides or anything. It was just a small little place. And like funny enough, when I went to get my maple syrup, it was like something out of like an episode of like South Park or Family Guy or something. This guy, he's like, hold on. He brings us to this back room, and I shit you not, he bends down under this table, and I hear a microwave go beep beep beep. Boo. He freaking, and then he like takes out the maple syrup and puts it on the stone. Like this is like the most unauthentic thing I've ever seen in my life. I'm like, I can't film here, so that got thrown out the window, and yeah, that's that was real unfortunate.
I had to like stifle laughter there. I don't think there's been any other professional wrestling interviews that had the phrase. So I went to go get my maple syrup. So these vignettes, of course, they're feeding the prime minister of the IWS character and all the matches that are ensuing from that. I want to talk about like two of my favorite matches that I saw during this reign. The first being the triple threat match. You were originally scheduled to just face Alex Mays. And then the owner of the IWS, PCP Manny, steps into this match and has a triple threat hardcore fight. That was a very fun match, I gotta say. Maybe not so much for Alex Mays, though. Poor guy.
Oh my god, yeah. I don't know how he got up and walked after that. I remember. Oh my god, like I had to try not to break character. And something, I think I did a skewer spot with Manny, and then something happened. I think I took a dive from Alex, and I was kind of like feeding off to the side. And then I know what's coming next. And I see Alex going up. And I think we had told Alex, like, just hit a splash. It's impossible to miss. But he really wanted to hit a leg drop. And me and Manny are like, I don't know, man. A leg drop, you can miscalculate it. You might go over, might go under. A splash, you just fall on him. So he's like, okay. Then he went up, and I guess he's like, fuck it, I'm going to do the leg drop. And I look up. I think I was like, someone like hit me, and I was sitting on a chair with like a fan. I'm like selling on the chair, and I just it happened in like an instant. He's there, and then bang, he's on the floor. I'm like, oh my god, and I'm like, do I go over? Do I go check on him? And then Manny, being the veteran he is, gets up, picks up Alex, goes to DVD him on the table. Table doesn't break. I'm like, oh my god, poor guy. Again, table doesn't break. I'm like, my god, if it doesn't break the third time, I don't know, man. He goes, table doesn't break. I'm like, fuck it. I think I grabbed Manny, threw him in the ring, belt shot him, low blow, gave him a low blow, pedigree. Let's go home. Like, Alex is gonna die. But that same table, I don't remember if it was before or after. I want to say before, at a bar show. I wrestled Alex, and that very same table, I went to powerbomb him through it post match. It didn't break. I think I tried it a second time. It didn't break. And then I went a third time, and like I was like, you know what? Fuck you, and I just walked out.
There was like this whole IWS table curse happening around that time. Like I didn't realize it was just one table.
It was always the same table. Like we had like bets going on backstage, like who's gonna break it, how it's gonna happen. All these tough guys, like, oh, it's gonna be me. Like TDT couldn't break it, Carl Jepsen couldn't break it. I think even Benjamin Toll tried to break it. I think Andy the Animal Anger during one of the bar shows, he got so mad he set it up, started trying to like stomp through it, throw himself through it. It didn't break. I don't know who broke it in the end, or if we just like took a saw to it. I really don't remember like what ended up happening to this table.
Oh man,
yeah, that table was a son of a bitch.
Oh, too funny. The other match I want to pick your brain on, again, another IWS legend, the original IWS world champion, Sexxxy Eddie. You had the match where you were trying to retire Sexxxy Eddie from the from professional wrestling. Thoughts on that match?
I love that match. Like me and Eddie, like we've had very few matches, but they've always been really good. We just have a really good chemistry together, and he's someone I want to wrestle some more before he ends up retiring and riding off into the sunset for sure. But yeah, we had such a fun match. We talked. I remember messaging him like, "Hey, you got that hot sauce stuff?" I'm like, "Can we do like a spot with it?" You know? He's like, "All right." He's like, He's like, I'll have a buddy of mine, like, like remove the part that makes it hot so you can shove it in my eyes. I'm like, are you sure, man? I'm like, I was thinking just like I shove it all in your mouth and like a freaking like I make your mouth burn, not your eyes. He's like, no, if we're gonna do it, we're gonna go all the way with it, man. He's like, pour the whole fucking thing in my eyes. I'm like, Jesus Christ. I'm like, okay, so we do the match. We're at the spot, and like I'm panicking opening the fucking thing because I'm like, okay, here it comes, man. I might blind this guy. He supposedly took out the hot stuff, but it's still, there's other shit in there. Like, I don't know. I put in his eyes. We have the rest of the match. We go backstage right away. Eddie blows past me, rinsing out his eyes in the bathroom. He's like, why did I do that? He's like, they told me there was no more hot stuff. He's like, I guess it's still hot. I don't know. But yeah, other than that, that I was scared for a few seconds. Like that match was a lot of fun. It was actually, I think that might have been the only match I was in where at some point I think I was crushing his leg with the crutch, the
The
walker
Walker.
thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, where the crowd kind of like split and like they went kind of 50-50 on us. It was like a "Let's go Eddie, let's go Viviani" chant, and then while I was crushing his leg. They kept saying one more time. I'm like, man, this guy's a legend. What do you want? You want me to cripple him? That's just the crazy IWS fans, I guess, just hungry for violence.
Yeah. That hot sauce is delicious, by the way, and Sexxxy Eddie uses that to raise money for great causes. So shout out to
Yes.
Sexxxy Eddie's jerk sauce there. Um, Now, of course, I'm going to be asking you about Dante DuBois, so don't blow my next question. But before we move on, any other matches from your championship reign that you kind of want to shout out and maybe look back on?
Um, other than that match with the two title match I had with Dante Dubois, it was even. This is where I realized that this guy was going to be a big star because I had in the first ever IWS bar show, I wrestled Dubois and we beat
Yep.
the living shit out of each other. Like I'm like, I would go to the dojo once in a while. I didn't know him too well yet at the point, but I would see him perform in the ring, and I'm like, this guy has something. He's big. He's got size. From what I see, he trains a lot. He like he has the proper etiquette a rookie should have, and he just showed like an athleticism and like a ring smart to him for like his, I want to say, ring age that was already pretty impressive. So I'm like, I really want to work with this guy at the upcoming bar show. And yeah, we went out there, we beat the crap out of each other. He listened well. Like, man, we had that place freaking going. Like, it was hot. Like, the fans were on top of us. It felt like like I was actually in a bar fight. And like, that's one that really stood out to me too. That one. And shout out to Mikey Jenkins from Crossbody Pro Wrestling as well. We had a really good one too. Um, out in Cambridge for Ben Ortman's promotion. Um, man, my brain is a mess right now. What other title man? Like it went by so fast, like 580 days, but it went by like this.
Sure.
I had quite a few title defenses,
Well,
but they were like all over. They were on bar shows, they were on student shows, they were in other provinces. Had a really good match with Tyler Knox too at the dojo show. Even Nathan
right.
Yarimovich had a match with Bob the Animal Anger. We beat the crap out of each other. Had a match with Frank Milano, another one that stands out to me because we did the whole Star Wars thing, the Rebels and the Empire,
Oh
and
yeah.
took a big
I'm looking
Spanish fly off the top.
doing a quick look on cage match. Of course, the Turbo House, the bar fight against Alex Mays, as you mentioned with the table. Bob
Yeah,
Anger at the Olympia. Yeah, man, this is a really fun reign. You had a very diverse cross section of opponents on this.
yeah. Got,
Um, Sorry.
no. I was just gonna say like a lot of different people, different places, different styles. Like we had the big IWS shows and we had the smaller bar shows and had the crossbody shows. Took the title with me to Edmonton, cut a promo in the ring with the belt at Love Pro Wrestling right before I got the match stolen from me by
GY.
Ty Jackson over there.
Yeah.
I'm coming back. Don't worry, I'm coming back.
So yeah, we got to dive deep into Dante Dubois, the current IWS Canadian Champion. This was a really compelling feud. You guys did a marvelous job with this. You had, I mean, some of it was happenstance. He did break your nose, if I'm not mistaken.
It did. Sure
Yeah,
did.
but it added so much to what your guys were able to build.
Yeah, honestly, like it was a lot of fun, and it was cool to see like from start to finish him grow. Was just like a new household name in the IWS. You know, from a relative unknown right like at the start to now like man the pop when he pinned me for the title, like it gave me goosebumps as that three hit. Man, when he got that 3 count, and also when he kicked out of the low blow and the pedigree, those two pops were insane. Like I probably the two biggest pops I've ever heard like while I was in the ring. And yeah, from start to finish, we had that match. I think it was back in October where he had his first title match at Studio TD. Great match, hard hitting, lots of action. Once again, like I saw, like he can really go, and he knew how to pace himself in a match, not go too fast, not go too slow. Listened well in the ring, was always there where I needed him to be. Can't ask for any more than that in an opponent. And also willing to do like the outside of the ring vignettes and stuff, like to take the feud even further, like us fighting in the junkyard and all things like that.
Whose idea was that? Because that's on my list of questions. The construction site brawl.
So I actually drive a front end loader for my shoot job, and I was just sitting at work one day, and I'm like, man, I was looking at it, and it was like it reminded me of like a backstage area from like Here Comes the Pain or something. I'm like, man, imagine a fight here, like kind of like the Stone Cold Booker T like supermarket thing. I'm looking around. I'm like, there's so much stuff we can hit each other with, and then I had to get the okay from my boss, you know, so we don't break anything. So we actually filmed that in 2 parts. When you see me get thrown out the door, the place where we ended up finishing with the loader was actually like further down the street because in the back we had just had that snowstorm and there was just snow and crap everywhere. We couldn't do anything there. So I'm like, yeah, what if like, because I know how to drive these machines, right? I'm like, we can do something that you don't really see on the indies. You can go full on attitude era here and try to really kill each other. You know, like where else on the indies are you going to see a guy get thrown into a front end loader and picked up with the scoop and launched into a steel container? Like, I don't think anywhere else is going to be doing that on the indies. So let's do it. Let's be the first. And sure enough, like that video was one of the most viewed IWS videos of the month, I think. If not like, and that was without any collabs or anything. No collabs, just straight up one post IWS, and I think it had like 12,000 views, something like that. So I was pretty proud of that one.
Again, just a marvelous feud top to bottom, from like the first match at Piranha Bar in the no ring show, all the way to the Olympia with the title change happening in front of a hot crowd. Really compelling stuff. The feud between Matt Viviani and Dante DuBois. Did after the match? Did you again? You can also like put a pause in my question here and keep it between you guys. But did you have any advice for him? Like, what was that moment after the match like?
Yeah, I just told him, man, you're the man now. You're the man now. Don't fuck this up. But yeah, all credit to him. He showed up, showed out, he delivered, and he is the fucking man. And I don't think that's going to be the top of the mountain for him, nor for me. I think we're going to meet again somewhere down the line, and maybe a bigger prize on the line.
There we are. There we are. What is next for Matt Viviani in the IWS?
I want to get to the top of the mountain. I've done Tag Team Championship, Canadian Championship. I want to be the World Heavyweight Champion. There's nowhere else for me to go, really. I want to complete the Grand Slam.
Grand Slam, Matt Viviani. What, like, will that evolve into a new gimmick?
Perhaps. That sounds good to me.
Marvelous. Matt Viviani, thank you so much for your time. As always, please let the audience know where to follow you on social media and all that.
Yeah, I'm at Matt Viviani 91 on everything, on X, Instagram, even Twitch. Don't stream as much as I used to, but I'd like to get back on there, get things going again, get some video games going, get some wrestlers on there, have some good times, and yeah, at Matt Viviani 91 across the board.
Marvelous. Matt, once again, thank you so much for your time.
Thank you for having me.